And hello, I think I am live. Hi, and welcome to my very first Facebook Live. If you're watching this, you are most likely watching the replay. I deliberately did not make an announcement prior to going live because I wanted this first time out to be a test of my lighting and a test of my camera and a test of my internet connection, just to be sure that everything was lined up and proper before I got started. So thank you so much for watching this recording. With that in mind, I want to introduce myself. I am Kelly Hurd. I am a life coach, and I specialize in helping women with demanding careers who want to put an end to their overwhelm and stress and burnout. And I mostly work with women in leadership positions, meaning women whose careers keep them in the office more than the typical 9 to 5, such as managers and directors and administrators and physicians and vice presidents and CEOs, positions that make it perhaps a little more challenging for establishing that work-life balance. So I help them regain the work-life balance that they're looking for and to manage their stress and to get rid of that overwhelm and to achieve the balance that they seek, along with more focus in their lives and what has meaning. So with that in mind, let's get started with this week's teaching. And please bear with me if my eyes go up and down. I have to totally admit, total transparency, I'm reading my notes. I'm cheating as I go. So just bear with me. So happy belated New Year. Can you believe that we are more than a week into the new year? It's like the 10th day in. And I don't know about you, but I am still I'm seeing news reports and I hear stuff on the radio and I see like Facebook and Instagram posts and I'm reading articles and seeing emails and all that stuff about like setting goals for the new year, even 10 days in. And, now that it's 2020, of course, we get barraged with all kinds of things about setting goals for the decade. And that's all well and fine, setting goals. But what I advise for the busy working moms who I talk to is don't get sucked into this feeling like you should be setting big goals and resolutions simply because everybody's talking about it or it's a popular topic this time of year. Last week on my blog, I shared a simple idea for working moms who still want to choose New Year's goals, but ones that are less audacious in nature and ones that fit into their lives in a way that works for their busy schedules. It's called the 1% method, and it's based on the concept of making small, incremental, and yet consistent changes that are much more sustainable because they're small and incremental in nature and not like so grandiose and disruptive to your daily schedule and your daily lifestyle. So this week on the blog, I shared more information about how to make different types of incremental changes, but not in goals per se, but really more on prioritization and prioritizing how we spend our time. So I felt it was really important to touch on this topic early in the year because we're talking about making changes in our lives, but also because time management is by far one of the biggest challenges that I see from working moms and the women I talk to, because they constantly feel frustrated between the demands of their careers and their households and that they don't have enough quality time to spend with their families or with themselves in their lives. They're not doing the things that they actually want to do, and they're not doing the things that they actually find important or fulfilling, because so many women unknowingly and unconsciously put the burden on themselves to do as many things as they possibly can with their time because they feel like they should do them, but it's not really the kind of stuff that is really important. So because they feel like, being the woman of the house, that they're somehow obligated to dedicate all of their time into taking care of everybody else's needs and wants, if and when all of that stuff is done, they could just let all of the other things fall into place in the time that they've got left. But we have to ask ourselves, and we have to really work on, are we deliberate with how we spend our time, and instead of just letting things fall into place? Because we have so many must-dos and things that we think are requirements in our life, but are we prioritizing our time on the things that have meaning to us, like time with our kids, time with our husbands, time with our families, even time with ourselves? because that's really important too. And it's so easy to just slip into spending our time in ways that don't really align with our personal priorities. And it's no wonder, because we have countless things in our lives that are competing for our time and our energy and our attention. Like, we've got a ton of apps on our phones. We've got so many streaming services that are available to us now, like Netflix and Hulu and Prime, and now there's Disney Plus, and we've got all these social media apps and shopping sites and you name it. And then we've got to throw in all of the regular day-to-day stuff like work and our kids' sports and their other activities and requests for help with the community and fundraisers and volunteer, other kinds of things. And there's just a never-ending list there. So if you, like many women, are constantly feeling squeezed on all sides by the things that you currently spend your time on, and always finding yourself putting off the things that are really important to you, thinking that you'll get to them someday, that's not going to happen. Now, in this time of the year, is the perfect time of year to hit the reset button and to really change the way you spend your time. And you can get started on this by just sit down and take inventory of how you currently spend your time versus how you want to be spending your time, and assess how the two of those are aligned, and make a list of what are your true life's priorities, and decide how to spend your time in a way that aligns with that, and to make sure that you are allocating enough time to really get to those things. And a really important part of this exercise is to be willing to be really honest with yourself about the difference between what is a priority and what you really want to do, and be willing to let go of the things that aren't. And sometimes that's going to require embracing a little bit of imperfection in your life, but that's okay. You really need to make sure that you're allocating time for the things that are aligned with your personal preferences, and not things that you are doing really just for the purpose of making somebody else happy. And sometimes that starts in the home. So, it's okay to let your kids be a little bit disappointed about not being able to play as many sports as they want in a given season, or, participate in as many other events that they want to within a given time period. If that allows for more free time for you to get done the other things that you want to do, and also frees you up to spend more quality time with your family, instead of just existing in, like a proximity of one another at a practice or a game or something else. You're not really interacting with your kids and spending quality time talking and interacting with one another. It's also okay to say no to requests for other requests for attention for your time outside of the home, like volunteer work and some of the things that I mentioned before, and to not feel guilty about it. It's your time. Time is one resource that we cannot make more of, and you've got to protect that time that's yours. And also ask yourself this question. Are you spending time on things that you think are important but really aren't? Like, are you one of these people who feels like she's got to achieve domestic perfection and get, for example, all of the laundry done every single weekend, instead of spending more time on the weekends actually playing with your kids and interacting with them? Because, feeling good because you're doing things that are for them are a little different than doing things with them and things that are more meaningful. So here's another thing. I hear people say, like, I just can't go to bed unless everything's picked up and straightened up. Just, let that stuff go. Like, grab your husband or your partner and go to bed early and spend some quality time there, or even just, some me time, because so many women say that they don't have time for self-care. Let the living room go. Let some of that laundry go. Let the dishes sit in the sink. Make time for the self-care that you really want. But just deciding just how to spend your time loosely in your mind is not going to be the way to make it happen. You have to, if you really want to create change in your life, make a plan for how to do it, put it in your calendar, and you have to commit to sticking to that plan. Because it's too easy to just think about things that we want to accomplish and then put it on the back burner the minute something else urgent comes up. Like, we're going to scrap it the first time we decide we're too tired and we're too bored and we're too frustrated with what happened in our day. to do something that requires brain power and planning, like sticking to a plan or taking care of things that we don't want to do now so that we can, be spending time doing the things that we want to do on the weekends when it's, time for quality time with our families. It's also easy to start out really strong with our plan and implement it for a week or 2, 3 months or more, and then eventually slip back into the old habits that we've had of losing time, say, on social media, because FOMO gets the best of us after a while and we feel like we've got to catch up on what we've missed. So one really critical part of this plan is if you do start out strong and then you find yourself slipping and slipping and slipping, don't just use that as an opportunity to throw in the towel and give up and just, tell yourself that that's not going to work and this was a bad idea and that's not going to happen and I never should have set this goal for myself in the first place. That's just unrealistic. Just stop. You have to just look at where you've gone off track from a place of curiosity and of non-judgment for yourself. And then just go right back to where you wanted to be. Just start over again. And, just let this be a fresh start and do not beat yourself up and don't judge yourself for where you may have slipped. Just start over. So, if you stick with your plan over time, you're not going to miraculously find all of the time in the world to do everything that your heart desires. But what you will find is that doing so will create more time for you to do the things that matter to you and create the fulfillment that you want in your life because you're not wasting time on the things that aren't important to you. So happy planning, everybody. I have every bit of faith in you that you will create and implement a plan that helps you use more time in a way that's in tune with your priorities in the coming year. So I want to thank you for watching, and I invite you to leave a comment or a question, since most of you are watching or recording if you're watching. I deliberately keep my blog posts and all of my other content brief because I know that you're busy moms and you don't have time to read a 1,000 or a 1,200 word blog post. So I keep them as brief as I can. But, just don't hesitate to leave me a question and reach out if you've got any questions about some of the teachings from today or in the future. And I'm also happy to go in depth with you on any topic that you'd like to take further. And in a way that's tailored to your life and your specific challenges. And you can do so by signing up for a free 30-minute coaching session. So you can just click the blue sign up button that's underneath of the header on my Facebook page. Or you can simply head to my website at kellyhurdcoaching.com and just click the free coaching consults button that's at the top of every page. So, but while you're here, don't forget to like the Kelly Hurd Coaching page. And then you can get notified of anytime I post new content or have new Facebook Lives in the future. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate your time, and have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.